What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. Just wanted to give y'all a chance to get your coffee, get your tea, whatever, your mocha matcha that you be drinking, in the morning. Get your morning things together, get to your desk or wherever it is you're listening from. If you in your car, you're probably going to be late. If you in your car, I'm not going to say hurry up, but hurry up because, it's 10:05 and the people is wondering where you at. When I was teaching, I used to have a coworker who would come and drop her things in my classroom, her purse and things, because she always wanted to stop at Starbucks. She was one of them Starbucks people. So, the Starbucks was right next to the school, and the Starbucks line was always super ridiculous. So she would stop at Starbucks, come in the school, drop her things because she was administrative. So she had an office, but she would drop her things in my classroom and then walk around like she already been there. So if y'all are walking around pretending like you already been at work, you know what I'm saying? You got a minute. You got a minute. How's the weather? We're going to start there because like we always do. It's rainy here. I haven't done my morning walk. It feels like forever. And that's how I get my mind right. So, I feel like the cloudiness that's been going on in my brain is because I haven't been able to get to my morning walk. And that's kind of stressful. So, it's raining today. Hopefully the sun will come out and my morning walk will, become my afternoon, evening walk. Long as it gets, somewhere around 60 degrees because we've been struggling over here in the Sunshine State. The sunshine's been here. We have not been lacking sunshine, but the temperature's been a little low, too low for us to, enjoy outside, things like we do around here, outside lunches and dinners and, all types of dining walks and strolls. And where we at? We in February. What's really funny? Super Bowl is Sunday. We moving right along. And I know Bad Bunny is going to be there. And I know the Patriots are going to be there. Who's playing in the Super Bowl? I didn't pay attention to who was going to be there, child. That's how uninterested I have been. So who going to be there? They're telling me about the tickets. I think it's the Rams for some reason. For some reason, I think it's the Rams. Y'all, football people, correct me if I'm wrong. But like I said, I know. No, it's the Seahawks. The Patriots and the Seahawks. Don't care. Don't care. I'm not going to tell you who I'm picking till, I get there. I'll make my decision. I'm not really a Patriots fan. Normally, under normal circumstances, I would probably go over there just because, what's his name? Stephon Diggs is over there, but I don't want to be, I don't know. I'll let y'all know when I know. I'll be there to see Bad Bunny. But anyway, Super Bowl is Sunday. So, am I preparing anything? I am not. Normally I have, Super Bowl food on the menu, but I literally don't care. This football season for me has been like the most uninteresting. All we've been doing is arguing. Owners not knowing what the hell they're doing, but, knowing what the hell they're doing. We've been a lot of Shador talk, this season. We had a lot of Shador talk, so he won't be there. But yeah, maybe, I'll tap back in next season. I don't know. Anyway, I thought we would start today. Since I'm a Florida girl now, I'm a Flint girl, born in Michigan, raised in Florida. So, we all got a little recipe in this. Mine is, for the last long time, for a very long time, I've been a Florida girl. So I thought I would share a little Florida history because that's what we do over here. We start our morning with a little history, about what we got going on, educate ourselves on our own community. So I'm going to go a little, personal and get into the history of Orlando.
Known as Orange Blossom Trail had been an old Indian trail south toward Kissimmee. In the 1940s, all cities in the Deep South were dealing with race relations, and Orlando was no exception. Orlando's harsh race division was defined by Orange Blossom Trail. By custom and even by law, Black citizens were prohibited from living west of the trail and west of Rio Grande, Paramore. The Black community pressed for their own neighborhoods and equal access to commerce. In 1951, a huge racial milestone took place. The bombing of an ice cream parlor on the trail, which served Black and white residents equally, was a signal of resistance to change which was coming. But at the same time, a massive new presence in the area was the expanding Orlando football stadium, which drew all of Orlando to Westlake several times a year. It became the Tangerine Bowl, aka the Citrus Bowl. Kentucky Avenue, which is now known as Orange Blossom Trail, had been an old Indian trail south toward Kissimmee in the 19th.
So yeah, and when you go over to that area, the Citrus Bowl, it's still very Black over there. You see a lot of gentrification happening, but it's still very Black over there. But when my kids were little, we used to drive, just traveling. I live like outside of Orlando, but driving in that area, they would get I mean, I don't know if I should say kick. It was very ironic to them how that term on the other side of the railroad tracks was so literal. And you can drive from, this is an Orange Blossom Trail, but in that area, you could drive straight down. It is OBT. It's definitely Orange Blossom Trail. So yeah, you're driving down Orange Blossom Trail and it's very hood. You know what I'm saying? And then you cross the railroad tracks, and literally on the other side of the railroad tracks are mansions, like these beautiful homes. And so the term on the other side of the tracks, and that what Marcel said about Tisha living on the other side of tracks. Well, I mean, it's a thing, living on the other side of the tracks. And we would talk about, like, I would not want my mansion, so close to this hood shit, but that's what it is. So shout out to OBT. It's not what it used to be, like most things are not. But yeah. Do you know the history of your town? I'm just finding mine. I added a lot of stuff, honestly, today, because every time I went online, it was something more. But we're going to start here. Y'all, let me know if you can hear me. I know I've had some issues in the past. So if you can't hear me, I don't know where you at, but hit me up if you can't hear me. The SBA announces that legal permanent residents, green card holders, will be ineligible for its loan program starting on March 1st, 2026. I'm going to look on my phone because it's hard for me to see when I'm looking on the computer. But March, that's next month. So, seems like they're rolling out their things one right after another, just like they said they were. And so for all of you born outside the country, I would say in the Latino community around here, if you thought you was going to be able to get a small business loan, you're ineligible if you're holding a green card. My mechanic is from Canada, and him and his wife went through the whole process, and they got their green cards, or I don't know if it's green cards, visas. They took the test, and now their citizenship. They got their papers. They did it the long way. They have a business over here, so I don't know if it's going to affect their business. But I feel like the fact that he's Canadian and not Caribbean, he probably doesn't have nothing to worry about. But at the same time, might be a little bit concerned. You know what I'm saying? And I hope he is. I hope he's concerned when it's decision making time. We don't have those discussions. We keep it real, PC. So yeah, I guess. Anyway, the U.S. Small Business Administration has announced a major policy change that will impact immigrant entrepreneurs across the country. Beginning March 1st, 2026, legal permanent residents, commonly known as green card holders, will no longer be eligible for SBA loan programs. The decision marks a significant shift in eligibility rules for SBA-backed loans, which have historically been accessible to lawful permanent residents who meet their program requirements. These loans are widely used by small business owners to start, expand, or stabilize their companies through government-backed financing. Well, according to the SBA, the change is part of a broader update to its loan eligibility standards. However, the announcement has already raised concerns among immigrant business owners and advocacy groups who argue that legal permanent residents play a vital role in the U.S. small business economy. As part of 2026 implementation date approaches, affected business owners are being encouraged to explore alternative financing options and stay informed about any additional guidance or clarifications issued by the SBA. The policy change is expected to spark ongoing discussion about access to capital and the role of immigrants in entrepreneurship nationwide. So, yeah, like I was saying, his business is already established, but you never know when you're going to need, like they said, to kind of keep your business afloat, like when you're going through different things. When, he did survive the big C. He had his business in place before COVID, but I guess that's something they're going to have to stay on top of. And, these are, I think, one of those things that people were thinking it won't affect me. And then you find out it just might affect you. So, or your neighbor, but child, what's up, John Tony T? Motown investor made it to the live. You gonna call me a news show? It's a little bit of news and a little bit of our history and a little bit of mess, and I got all of that this morning. I some days it's a struggle to figure out what I'm gonna come over, because when you come over, just started this year. When you come over 4 days a week, you're constantly looking for things to talk about and keep y'all interested and wanting to come over here. You know what I'm saying? But some days it's a struggle. Today it kept coming and coming, and I was like adding and adding. So I'm trying to stay on task, and then if I can add some of these other things, then I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But small business loans. I was born here in these United States, but my skin is not white. So therefore, they probably just find some other loophole to keep me out of, out of eligibility. But this might be a part of their problem. And it's scary, because they're reactionary people. So white births in the U.S. have fallen below 50% for the first time ever. Do you think that has them in a panic that births have fallen? Because one thing they're going to do is track something. So if we know it, then they know it. They know that the births are low. And what's crazy is when they're talking about these percentages and things, because percentages only matter based on, the political need, I feel like. So when you're filling out paperwork, I'm assuming it's everywhere, but here, based on the population, when you're filling out paperwork and they ask you your race and they say, you pick your race. I pick obviously Black, African American. Then your ethnicity is chosen, and that would be Hispanic, non-Hispanic, white Hispanic, all these options of which type of Hispanic you are. And I'm saying Hispanic because that's what the paperwork says. But, that's in order to finagle numbers. And I feel like a lot of people within the Latina community will pick the white because, that's what they, aspire to be. Some, I don't want to say all, I'm saying some. Based on the Trump sign that's living, across the street from my house, some of them, going all the way in. Well, white births have fallen again in the U.S. as the total number of births also fell across the nation. The nation's number of white births fell from 52.6% in 2016 to 49.6% in 2024, tipping below 50%. Researchers at New York's Hofstra University announced on Friday the country's total number of annual live births also fell during the same period, dropping from 3.9 million to 3.6 million. So, births in general are down, live births. The people stressed. Shoot. The food is bad. Maybe our bodies aren't as healthy as they used to be. And so they're making, this nasty, whatever chicken and tainted beefs and things that we be eating. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I don't have any research. I haven't done any research. I don't have any proof, but my mind, comes up to conclusions that sometimes makes perfect sense. Anyway, the findings signal what researchers call a major demographic transition. Ooh, that's scary for some folks. And echoes previous data showing America's fertility rate is on the decline. Or maybe these young ladies out here are not interested in pushing out these babies for y'all's ninjas. These shifts reflect declining fertility across most groups, contrasted with immigration trends and younger ages among Hispanic women that sustain overall birth rates, the researchers wrote. I mean, we living in a different world, and I feel like for those that are not us, because they not like us, that's concerning, and maybe that's why there's out here taking people out in the middle of the streets with no good reason. I don't know one Black business that received a small business loan. I see things often, and just people saying these small business loans here and there. I'm guessing they're there. They're probably not easy to get. The timing is what it is. Right now, I feel like now the timing is going to be not great. And I mean, this is kind of a messed up thing to say, but since they've changed the requirements in terms of, green card holders not being available, then maybe that frees up more money. I just don't believe it frees up more money for us. I feel like the paperwork will, put us still in the same position we've always been in. I feel like there's more green card holders with businesses than, us Black folks. They take away Medicaid, WIC, food stamps, and they want people to have babies. Yes, and they're even giving you an $1,000 incentive. You could get $1,000. They're not going to give it to you. They're going to put it in a savings account for you. Daycare. Oh my God, they're taking away daycare assistance. So that means women have to stay at home where you're supposed to be in the kitchen. Oh my God. Only problem is these ain't shit ninjas don't be at the house. They be out here, procreating 12, 13, 14 babies. Nick Cannon out here making the whole village. You got 12 women over here talking about my man, my man. So what is it? What is it that we were supposed to be doing? I don't fall under any type of traditional values really. So for me, it's just, I take it for the grain of salt it is. But yeah. So small businesses, green card holders, y'all ain't eligible. Births are down. So yeah, births are down and white births are very down. So, be careful out there. And then ironically, they take all the stuff away. The white births are down, which, for them, that's very scary. And it's nobody's fault. If you're giving Handmaid's Tale that they're going to start, if they haven't already, if that's not what all this trafficking is about, to snatch up, anyway, let's talk about insurance because it kind of falls into the same category.
Or control a health insurance division, raise your hand. Please keep your hand up if you also employ healthcare providers or own clinics, specialty pharmacies, or any other kind of medical practice or pharmacy. Please keep your hand up if you also own or control a pharmacy benefit manager. And please keep your hand up if you lead a publicly traded company at which you have a legal responsibility to maximize shareholder value. So we've established on the record that the largest health insurance companies are not just insurers. They are also medical providers and pharmacies, diagnosing and deciding treatment for patients. They are also PBMs, another form of middlemen managing drug benefits. They are increasingly controlling every aspect of our healthcare system. Which of your companies own or control a health insurance division? Raise your hand.
Okay, so the largest U.S. health insurance companies aren't just insurers anymore. They own hospitals, they employ doctors, run clinics, operate pharmacies, and control pharmacy benefit managers that decide which drugs you can get and how much you pay. In one revealing moment at a Senate hearing, executives were asked to raise their hands if their company owns, controls the health insurance division, employs providers or owns clinics, specialty pharmacies, owns, controls a PBM, has legal duty to maximize shareholder value. Almost every major hand stayed up. They diagnose, treat, dispense drugs, set prices, and decide coverage, all while legally obligated to prioritize profits over patients. That's crazy. One entity now controls almost every step of your healthcare journey. That's not competition, that's consolidation. That's scary. That, obviously they are more concerned with making money than they are with your health, which, we understand. We see they taking away Medicare benefits. So you can't pay for it because the benefits are no longer there. They got their hands in that too. They want straight cash from y'all, which you're not making. And again, that puts us at a disadvantage. We need Black schools. HBCUs need to step up the game. We need to go back to Hillman when Denise Huxtable and Whitney Gilmer was over there, speaking up to the youth. I was there. I was watching Different World when it was time for me to go to college. So, apartheid and all of that stuff that we would have never heard about, we found out, via a Different World. You know what I'm saying? And HBCUs. I would guarantee you during that time, HBCUs were up. Morehouse, Clark, Morris Brown, which I don't think is there anymore. Howard, all of the HBCUs, I'm sure benefited from, Different World putting it out there. So please, we need more of that. We need more doctors, Black ones, and everybody's ethnicity can speak up for themselves. Now that I thought about it then, but just to go back for a second to what I was talking about when you're filling out, your race and your ethnicity. That's wild. So race, I thought we were a human race, but they make you break it down, as to what your race is, and your ethnicity is then different than your race. Child. Anyway, yeah, we need more people. And I mean, it's time to focus. We can stay on our own. We've over and over and over again, history has shown us that we do much better financially and mentally, and as a community, we do much better. You know what I'm saying? When we take care of our own, like back in the day, and I don't like to put them on here because it's just a little bit much first thing in the morning to seeing kids being abused at, daycares. Oh, Morris Brown is holding on. What's up? Y'all make these names so hard for me. Panchinor Rules. I'm going to call you Pat. What's up, Pat? Welcome to the chat. Morris Brown is still holding on. I mean, I feel like I don't want to see any of them closed. Everybody need their hands on the table. We talked about that. Everybody needs to be held responsible just because the monies are going over there. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife it was somewhere around 70 million that she's been donating to these HBCUs and things. So somebody said that I think she was educated or somewhere took a class from Toni Morrison, which is what has inspired her. I'm going to get, make sure I get that right. But somewhere I heard that that's what inspired her to do all this. But this is where the money needs to go. Pacino Rules. I'm still going to call you Pat because I'm just Rhonda, you just Pat, and we we over here just chatting in the morning. So yeah, it all boils down to where we're spending our money at, and I feel like and I'm guilty too. Sometimes we choose convenience, and we have to stop doing that. It's such a dire time. So with the kids nowadays, they don't even really hear about HBCUs, and so this goes to, when you watch Married to Medicine, even though Married to Medicine, has become something else, that's because, look who's in charge over there, Bravo. We need these types of shows, to inspire those coming up under us. Your little donations is keeping Jackson State open. But Motown investor, imagine if everybody's little donations, you know what I'm saying, We got FAMU here. One of my very best friends is a graduate of FAMU, and I guarantee you they're getting a whole bunch of her coin because she's doing well, for herself. But like I said, I feel like we do well for ourselves when we stick together, and all the jealousy and hating on each other over Balenciaga and bullshit that we don't even have to. How many African designers or African American designers are in malls? You know what I'm saying? They exist, but people want to spend their money to floss, standing outside of Hermes waiting to spend $30,000 on a bag that they don't want you to have because they got to check your address first. So we just need to get our priorities straight. And these insurance companies, maybe we, should own our own insurance companies. How come we don't have that? I know there's regulations and things that need to be, they're going to figure out a way to keep us out, but there has to be a way. There has to be a way, to move around it. Because you got people out here, basically deciding who gets to stay and who doesn't. So I don't know. Drink your juice, stay away from McDonald's, and don't get sick. That's crazy. And others. I haven't had fast food. I can hardly do it. I went, and this was like a couple weeks ago. I went to Wendy's because I had worked all day. I was starving. I went to Wendy's and I spent $12 on a meal. I was like, damn, I could have went to the grocery store for this, fed everybody with this $12. Anyway, we've been talking about this, though. This man is saying it out loud, y'all.
Right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. We're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. And you can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want, but we will never again allow an election to be stolen. You're damn right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. We're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. And you can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want, but we will never again allow an election to be stolen.
So his verbiage is so interesting because he said never again allow an election to be stolen when we know that the election was definitely not stolen. This has been a concern that, I brought up several times is what is it going to look like? I just saw something. What is it going to look like when we get down to the polls? Because, the intimidation is going to be very strong. And I think in some places more than others. So while you got these YNs out here acting a fool, NLE want to see the kids fight with each other and all that foolishness, send their ass down to the polls. Since they want to be tough guys, put a vest on them and let them, do whatever it is they need to do to, keep us safe when we walking in there. So I did see this. This is one of those things that, I caught this morning before I came over here to talk to y'all. So it says the Supreme Court allows the state of California to use congressional map favoring Democrats, similar to the new map in Texas that favors Republicans. So Gavin Newsom been over there fighting, for his life. The Supreme Court has allowed California to move forward with the new congressional map that is widely seen as favoring Democrats, a decision that could shape the balance of power in future U.S. House elections. By declining to block the map, the court effectively clears the way for California to use district boundaries that Democrats argue better reflect the state's population and voting patterns, while Republicans say that the charge amount to partisan gerrymandering. Republicans say the changes amount to partisan gerrymandering, like they don't be over there doing that. The ruling comes as similar redistricting, I can't get it out, battles play out across the country. In Texas, a newly adopted congressional map has drawn criticism for favoring Republicans, reinforcing GOP strength in the state already dominated by the party. Together, the California and Texas maps highlight how both major parties are using redistricting, I'm never going to get it out today, to protect and expand their political influence ahead of upcoming elections. These developments underscore the growing role of the courts in election-related disputes and high stakes surrounding the congressional maps, with control of the House often deciding by a narrow margin. Even small changes in district lines can have national consequences, making redistricting one of the most contentious issues in American politics today. I don't know why I can't say that for some reason. I feel like whether it's Democratic or Republican and wherever you stand, I feel like we all need to go to the polls, whether you red, and if that's where you want to stay. But when it's time to vote, make the right decision. They're all delusional. These racists are mentally ill. Do they really believe the election was stolen? No, they don't. They don't. And the way they say things, they say it in a way that, because, they're not talking to us, first of all. They're talking to their own, Bubba them down to the farm with 3 teeth and 2 wives, one of them his sister. They're talking to that guy or girl. And when they say things like the election was stolen, these people will go back and repeat it without any type of common sense because they don't come with any. This is what I would like for y'all politicians that's out here rolling on the blue side, on the D side. Please take some of this money that y'all are asking for to hire security and armed security at that to protect folks going over here to these polls. If ICE is going to be out here heavy at the polls, then alternates will also. You believe Musk stole the election for Trump? Oh, yeah. I feel like he's admitted it. This man came out before the election even happened and was like, don't worry about that. We won't have to vote again. We're going to get rid of that. He's been saying it. And then people was like, he's a fool. No, he's not a fool. He is a fool. But he's out here just publicly saying the shit that's being said behind closed doors. I don't know that they meant for him to say that. Problem is, they got in here cheating and they brought diabolicals in there with them. A whole bunch of folks that came from Epstein Island over here trying to keep themselves out of jail. Now, I saw this and I was like, I just want to share it because I remember back in the day, this was a story and you kind of was like, oh, what are they talking about? That sounds crazy. And now it sounds about right. Where is this lady?
Wayfair was selling furniture with the same name as missing girls. For example, in 2019, a 17-year-old girl from Ohio named Samaya went missing. Then a few days later, Wayfair listed a Samaya 5 shelf storage cabinet for almost $13,000. In 2020, a 16-year-old girl from Connecticut named Yuritsa went missing. And a few days later, the Yuritsa storage cabinet went up for sale on Wayfair for just under $14,000. May 2020, from Kansas City, a 14-year-old girl named Annabelle goes missing. Same storage unit, sold on Wayfair. Annabelle with the same selling for just under $11,000. January 2020, Kyla Coleman, 16 years old from Cleveland, goes missing. You can already guess, Wayfair, same name, this one discounted for $12,000. Everyone always called this a conspiracy theory until now when a receipt from Wayfair was found in the Epstein files. Look, we know that Jeffrey Epstein's network has a history with missing girls. Don't forget this picture of John Benet Ramsey and Ghislaine Maxwell lurking in the background. Back to the receipt. It was purchased by Karina, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime girlfriend, on June 28th, 2018. It was for one item totaling $8,400. And I've tried, but I can't find out what the item was. What I do know is that on June 23rd, 5 days prior, a girl named Joanna went missing from Columbus, Ohio. And still, to this day, she has never been found. But back in the day when this conspiracy was spreading online, there was a high-priced Joanna cabinet circulating in the chats from the same WFX utility company. Just for context, the WFX company is still selling the same storage units on Wayfair, but they're only $139. Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, Karina, wasn't just making purchases on Wayfair. She's also active in the files for making purchases off of Etsy. We know that back during this time, Etsy also had some very weird postings. The reality is that none of this proves anything, but it does make you think that if this type of activity was happening, who was behind selling these items to Jeffrey and his network, allegedly? Where's Epstein's longtime girlfriend, Karina? She was a dentist, which might explain why he had these rooms. Just 2 days before his passing, his estate signed everything over to her. We're talking about the properties, Zorro Ranch, the island, and hundreds of millions of dollars. So, does she know where all the bodies are buried? I say that figuratively, of course. As always, 4 years.
Where the heck is Karina? I did not know about Karina. I've actually tried to been avoiding like Epstein files related stories. Selling girls to Arabs, but you know, and other world leaders. You posted it on Facebook and they striked it. Or what? About the cabinet? What did they say? This is not true. Epstein's situation may force us to look at our celebrity faves differently. Well, hell, Puff handled that. Puff, R. Kelly. I think a lot of times, though, especially when you're talking about record executives, not that these people are innocent, you know what I'm saying? But when you're talking about record executives and like, what's his name? Harry Weinstein, and being involved, and, you know, you got to be in the right rooms with the right people. You've heard that often. I've been in the right rooms with some of the people and it feels off. You know what I'm saying? When you're innocent in there, it feels off. You can tell that the people around you. I remember in college, I went to this party. I got invited to this party because of somebody, and I can't remember. It had to have gone through my hair salon where I was working, but somebody invited me there as a fashion designer, and I didn't bring clothes, but I brought sketches. They used my sketches as an exhibit at their party. And then, you know, I was with a friend of mine. I don't think I went by myself, but it was all very strange. Like a bunch of beautiful people. Like when you're in a room full of a bunch of beautiful people that are all like 6 foot plus women and men, and they're all skinny. And it was just very odd. It was just, I was like a sore thumb. I wouldn't have known what the who's who is, but I could very well be in a picture and they say, so Rhonda was at this event, you know what I'm saying? I don't know who is Epstein, you know what I mean? About Wayfair, they said it's not factual. I mean, they said it's not factual, so did this lady, but it's curious, you know what I'm saying? It's just interesting. I remember watching, if y'all ever watch Law and Order, but it's not Law and Order. It's the one where Homeboy went and got his own show. He left Olivia. What's his name? I can't think of his name. But, you know, Olivia and Homeboy. He got his own show. And there was an episode on there where they were trafficking these Armenian girls. And, of course, there was a head mother, you know what I'm saying, that they all stayed with her. And she was heavily involved, like Gerlene or whatever her name is. I'm sure they based it off of that. She was like teaching them how to go to these parties and behave. And some girl stumbled up in there and, you know, got the police's eyes on it. But they were having these auctions of jewelry. And so the girls would be wearing the jewelry, and the guests had these iPads, and whatever they paid for the jewelry allegedly was really not about the jewelry, but about the girl. So whatever girl was wearing whatever piece of jewelry, if they bid on it or purchased it, that meant they purchased the girls. And the detective that got herself invited to the party was looking at other, you know, over the shoulder of some of the men in the room. And she was realizing that her tablet did not have all the jewelry that was listed on that thing. There was special jewelry on there for those guys that knew exactly what they were there to purchase. You said that liars definitely their main defense mechanism. What, being a liar? So yeah. They said the missing kids pictures at Walmart was an advertisement. Wow. None of it surprises me. I watched this documentary and, we start having conversation and I forget things, but I watched this documentary on Netflix where these young ladies in different cities, it wasn't even in the same town. These young ladies were at college parties getting assaulted and then going to report it at the police department. The police then somehow finagled them into confessing that they were lying. And then the girls were then on trial for lying versus, the boys getting any type of punishment. They weren't even looking for any type of investigation. They just, kind of need these girls. There was one guy in there, officer, that kept touching the girl's thigh. Like, can you imagine? You've just been through a horrible situation like that. And then you got this person, the police, that you're told to go straight to the police. Don't go, maybe you should go straight to the hospital. And I guess depending on what you look like, I mean, y'all still out here. When I say y'all, I don't mean y'all, but y'all still out here wondering, what did Cassie do to deserve having Puff stomp her down the hallway? So, child, this world we live in, y'all be talking about heaven and hell. It's right here. You have to pick. The devil is alive on the streets right now. Some probably down to the pole waiting on us to come over there. Now we was over here praising Netflix last week because they trying to, hold Paramount out of, completing their 2025 project. But, Netflix be over here doing some foolery also too, as well. It's irritating because, why y'all everybody over here cheating? Now I'm gonna go watch it. I probably wasn't planning on watching it, but I am now just because y'all over here doing the most. So Netflix sparks outrage, moving Michelle Obama's doc to the children's section amid huge popularity. So, your girl, what's her name? Trump's wife, Melania. She has a documentary coming out or movie or whatever she got coming out. And they want to keep it, where she, how they like to finagle numbers. So they moved Michelle Obama, over to the children's section. And, when you scrolling, that's not going to pop up unless, you over there watching Miss Rachel, which I often do, but not often on Netflix. Yeah. So what did the people say? I saw a post today that said Netflix had moved Becoming. That's the name of her Netflix. So everybody that's got Netflix, run over to the children's section and let that ride. Whether you watch it or not, just let it roll. While you're washing your dishes or doing other things, throw on Becoming, the Michelle Obama movie. It's been moved to the kids section. So this lady said, I called them 866. Let me put this up there so we can see the number. I'm gonna just go ahead and let y'all see what I'm seeing. She called the number to find out why it was moved. And at Joy, she done gave the lady's name and everything. Let me go ahead and share it over here with y'all right quick. I never thought to do that, honestly. I mean, this isn't something I knew about until now, but I will be going ahead and turning on Becoming, though, since y'all want to be slick. Okay, it says Joy at Netflix says it was because the movie is rated PG. She then said, has that ever been a thing? Come on. So is the Upshaws. That be on Netflix. Not on the kids section. Anyway, she said that it's available on both kids and adult sides, which is not. So if you have a few minutes, you may just want to reach out yourself to Netflix. It's up to shenanigans. They up to the shenanigans over at Netflix. Here we can see, I just looked at mine. It says kids. They're obviously throwing shade. I'll be looking when I'm done. And then I'm going to go ahead and watch it. Has it changed? Still showing only kids ranking. Now, maybe if more kids watched it, That's a good, I mean, that might backfire. Get your kids. Maybe if they watch it and become inspired, the country could become less racist, but mostly that's up to the parents. So for all your parents that didn't know that they went ahead and moved the movie, somebody said, cancel my subscription. This took this 20 minutes ago. I mean, or you can just show your kids and watch the movie, you know. We can watch it and see what's up, but, you know, keep your eye on Netflix while they're looking for our subscriptions. And, you know, a lot of times they panic when you do that. When a lot of people start canceling their subscriptions, because you can always, you know, renew your subscription. So if a lot of people cancel, let them know. We see you. Quit playing. I'm going to go straight to this Joe Budden story.
Yes. It's a lot of money over there. So she won't be the first or the last. Like, there will be plenty more celebrity
for sure
to take that check. Listen, when you on that side, they rocking.
Yeah.
They rocking. So tempting for people, I know, but my views and just how I was raised and my family that I come from and Sumter, South Carolina. No.
Because you know how it works, Joe. All it takes is one. Well, you heard what Joe said. Joe said black people are doing the X, Y, and Z. Well, you heard what Shannon said, that he did say X, Y, and Z. So they'll take the voice of one and then try to make it the voice of millions.
Yeah. Well, and that's a plan. I can't be complicit.
No,
and not sleep at night. So it bothers me when I see people that I know and have some sort of relationship with and have had some conversations with, and, you know, I've seen people grow and become multi-million-dollar brands from black shit and black people and black consumerism. Like, so to watch you take that equity and stand over there, yeah, I can't jive with that. A lot of money over there.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, they say right message, wrong messenger. We just gonna put the name in the search bar. Becoming Netflix. Becoming. We gonna hit that search bar and keep searching it. So tell a friend to tell a friend. And while you tell them to come over here, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We can all get in other people's opinion. Share the video too. We can do that. Put it in the bar, share the video. You know, look at me over here plugging myself. That doc bombed badly. Then they lied saying it was record breaking. Are you talking about Melania's doc? I don't care. Nobody cares. But, you know, this is not about her. This is about becoming. So let's go over there. And like T said, put it in the search bar. Cancel your subscription. Call Netflix if that's what you want to do. You could call and leave a message. You know, I might just do that just for shits and giggles today. I might just call and be like, I'm curious. You know, talk to somebody in customer service, see what they're saying. Yeah, so right message, wrong messenger. Joe said we're going to see a whole lot of celebs. So who just said that? Pac said that we're going to see a lot of our celebs over here. Yeah, and something that he said that resonated with me is they make their money off of the Black community and then they spend it over there. And, you know, I guess we all got a hand in that, but they're so blatant with it. Over there doing, I seen Sexy Red performing at somebody's birthday party. Somebody got married. Somebody on Trump's team got married. 50 Cent was over there. Michael Blackston, you know, you got your Amber Rose and your Nicki Minaj. I can't wait to see how that plays out with them being besties. Anyway, you know, so, I mean, I guess you could pull your support. It's ironic that Joe Budden and Shannon Sharp are the two people over here judging Joe, who has a history of being abusive to women, drug addiction, and just overall douchebag. And then you got Shannon over here who prefers to have sex with white women that call him a nigga. So, but what they said was, let's don't get distracted by the messenger. Yeah, I guess we just all have to be careful. Like the celebrities that we're supporting, that means going to watch their movies. We gonna watch Becoming. That's what we gonna do. Some celebrities is getting like getting slammed by their own families. Is when you make it big, and then you help people out, and then when you have to pull back because you have advisors and things telling you can't pay for everybody, it makes them mad. So your girl Glow, there were so many of these stories, and so I ended up like catching a couple of them. I'll start with her sister. So her sister's over here mad.
Y'all favorite rapper. Y'all favorite rapper ain't shit. And I'm getting tired of it. Y'all mad. Fuck. Y'all talking about some she ain't obligated. How the fuck she ain't obligated when she want to sit here and all them interviews and talk about the struggles we been through and then reach back and help none of us out. But got her friends wearing the shit. And my mama still working at FedEx. Y'all better get the fuck out of my face. Y'all mad. I'm talking about y'all favorite rapper.
That's her sister. She's claiming that Glow isn't helping the family. This is one of her friends. If anybody got a MFing problem with me putting my 2 cents in, it's this S meets me at Riley, Egypt first. What? At Riley, Egypt right now at Field so big. Who first? I guess she's, wants somebody to pull up. Where was y'all at when she was homeless, sleeping on her friends' couches? Where was y'all? Child, they don't use no punctuation, all caps. Where was y'all when this child done spell her? Where was y'all when her house got broken into? Y'all knew her whole family knew. Nobody checked up and nobody tried to get to go see if she was straight, hurt, or nothing. We did. If we gonna laugh everything out, let's do it. I'm gonna make a fool of myself if I keep reading all that. Glow posted this, and it's from her mom, allegedly. And it says, "Thank you so much." This is a text that she received from her mother, allegedly. "Thank you so much, so very much. Really didn't want to ask because you already do so much for us. Thank you so very, very much for all that you do. I didn't take it for granted at all. I really do love and appreciate you so very much. So God bless you for your honor, respect, kindness, love shown to me. You're such a blessing to me. When I become a millionaire, I got you. Meanwhile, I'll prayerfully keep you in God's hands continually." I mean, it's always that one that thinks they are entitled to your money. I don't know what's wrong with her mother still working. I don't think there's anything wrong with her mother still working. If she put in years, like, I, as a mother, don't feel like, personally, if my kids, made it to whatever successful status, I'm sure she's helping. You know what I'm saying? She's taking care of her family. There's a bunch of them over there. When you have 4, 5, 6 kids, how come all of y'all aren't putting in and helping? Why? Because she has the most money. It's supposed to be her responsibility. This girl had a whole lot to say. I don't feel like I would quit working. I would be grateful. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I would be given without asking, because, that's how generally your kids do when they make it big. But for her to feel like she bought her father a house. Let me see. I've seen that somewhere. She bought her father a house. He just retired. She bought him a car. And so this particular sister, I guess, has issue with that for whatever reason. She feels like she shouldn't have bought her father a car. I don't know. Here it is.
So we celebrate my dad for his retirement. So how long is 30 years? 29 years at the post office. I'm pretty sure the post office appreciate all your hard work. I appreciate your hard work. You 4 years, little girl. So I got a gift for you for your retirement party. You gotta come outside. Yeah, I got a gift for you. Hey, everybody.
Can't rock the band.
Can't rock the band.
So, I mean, clearly she's doing something for somebody. Every NFL or NBA player that I personally know, their parents were still working. Yeah, because you be proud, of your child for their accomplishments, but that doesn't now mean that you need to finance my life. You know what I mean? And they probably looking at it like, if you've worked for FedEx for however many years, I'm gonna go ahead and get my retirement check. If that's, an option. You say the sister shouldn't be spilling family business. Glo can spend her money the way she wants. I feel like Glo is helping plenty. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the sister is mad because somewhere Glo posted, I think she changed her profile picture to her sister in a FedEx uniform. And she's pretty much like, maybe you should get a job because I don't know that she works. The music business can be very fickle. True. You can be up one day and down the next. The siblings can need to take care of themselves. And that's what I'm saying. And I think there's a lot of them. And then she's jealous. She went on and on, but it was a lot of effity Fs. I'm trying to do better over here. So she has an issue also with the people that she's hanging around. So she's bringing up stuff like, you've got this person around you and that person around you, and they weren't there for you. And, girl, stop. To me, like, I take care of mom and dad. And then for whatever you got going on, figure it out for yourself. Since you got so much to say about me, say you lost my number, block, because she's doing the most. They kill me coming to the internet, saying, what is it that we're supposed to feel about Glo? Hope. That's what she say. Let's get into a little reality news. I can't stand when people count other people's money. Well, especially when you don't work. Child, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And this is also the thing. When you get to a certain status, you have to have people around you that are qualified for the job. You're my sister, what are you qualified to do? Because now I need somebody that's going to be able to, really help me negotiate things and not just stand around bringing a bunch of losers around to drink up my liquor. And how do I know you weren't behind my house getting robbed since you over here mad, because what, I'm working and you're not? I just saw something. Hold on. Let me. Oh, you said the same thing. Okay, let's get into to Miss Kiana. Have y'all been watching Potomac? Some of y'all watch Potomac. Some of y'all have given up. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm still here. I reviewed the season. And so this came up. Somebody wanted to tell her business. It says, Kierna Stewart is speaking out after a blogger revealed that she filed for bankruptcy in 2023, and she's owning it. Good for her. An exclusive statement to the Neighborhood Talk, the Real Housewives of Potomac Star addressed the resurfaced court documents head on, making it clear she has nothing to hide. I'm aware that a personal financial moment from 2023 is being framed as gossip, and I want to address it directly because transparency matters. More to me than pretending life is always polished, Stewart said. I mean, unless it involves Greg. Stewart confirmed the filing and pushed back on the stigma often attached to bankruptcy, especially for women in business. Let's be clear, bankruptcy is not a character flaw, she explained. It's a legal tool that many entrepreneurs use when they take real risk, build real businesses, and sometimes have to rebuild. That's part of business. That's part of life. She also noted the filing came before her current success, adding, I'm the first Black woman to own a medical spa of its kind in Baltimore. That didn't happen by playing it safe. The documents, which listed Stewart's monthly income as $2,000, were initially shared by the blogger I'm not gonna say it. I don't want no problems. Stewart says the bigger picture is growth and resilience. Real success comes with real setbacks and real lessons and real resilience, she explained. I agree. I'm a real housewife because I live a real life. One that includes ambition, risk, rebuilding, and winning again. I'm still standing, I'm still building, and it's still the story we're telling. Well, I hope if Kiana comes back, even though this was part of, something that happened to her back in 2023, I hope that she shares that. Like, I feel like that's the stuff, for other women in business that, Stormy the same way, like has talked about, the ups and downs in having a business. That pretending statement was a dig at Wendy. I mean, is Wendy pretending? I don't think Wendy was pretending. Honestly, I think Wendy had all the jobs and stuff. I know I'm talking about if that was a dig. She had all the jobs that she claimed. She's who she says she was. She got caught up in trying to keep up with the Joneses, and then they start doing, other things. They only got 25,000. So, all them numbers and things that people are coming up with, they only were awarded 25,000. So hopefully, they can make some type of arrangement to pay that money back and get on with life, because we don't want to see Wendy and Eddie going to damn jail for $25,000. But Kiana, while you over here, clutching picture frames from the jewelry store, maybe, that's a part of your story. The blogger put it out there. She might have did you a favor. Now you got a storyline, because you damn sure didn't have one last season, Kiana. I don't know if y'all watched the Never Ever Mets. I watched it and reviewed it. So I'm going to just, these people come on these shows and then, they get out in their feelings when we, the, internet, have something to say. Want to tell all your business. This one right here was telling all the business, the blow by blow. So if you didn't watch the show, these two here went on the show, The Never Ever Met. It's a dating show about people who are dating online, and then they meet each other. They go stay in this house and see, like, if they really like each other. Well, these two got over to the house, and he had a baby while they were dating. He did not tell her about the child, allegedly. It was a lot of who shot John over there. He brought his best friend, the porn star, to the house, and there was a lot of drama there. So she carried on, the girls from this show, they linked up together and united against how, these guys were no good, only to, fall out with each other, and then have this one over here back in the business together. She lives in California and he lives in Atlanta, I want to say. So I don't know where she is, but they're traveling far to continue to date each other. So, note to us that review these daggone dating shows, like, these people are full of shit. Did Kiana date that man while he was still married? I guess we're going to find out at the reunion, because that's what Jazzy said. Jazzy says she stole him from his wife. I don't know if that's true, but I know that there's a long, contentious divorce proceedings and things going on, custody and all of that. It was messy over there with Greg and that ex-wife, which would explain, why he's not in a rush to get in with Kiana. But I mean, if she did, that's unfortunate, Kiana. You should always be weary of a man who, got with you while he was still married. It's habits. These are habits that they have. This ain't just no one-off. So, I mean, the reunion ain't until a few weeks from now. I guess we got Super Bowl, and maybe it's the week after Super Bowl. Maybe that's why they're not doing it this week. And yeah, I think it's next week that we get to the reunion, because, nothing is going to be on this Sunday. Besides, they everybody's watching football. And if you're not, then you might as well be, because nothing is going to be on, until after the game. On another note, since girls, these reality girls out here being foolish. This young lady I was not familiar with, but we like to discuss achievements and athleticism and such. So we got Star Andrews, a Black woman making history as the first U.S. figure skater to win an ISU Grand Prix medal in nearly 30 years. I'm not familiar. But, we still being the first at things. I know how you hate that, T, but we still being the first. Star Andrews, a Black woman, has officially broken a barrier that stood for nearly 30 years, becoming the first Black U.S. figure skater to win an ISU Grand Prix medal since 1995. In a sport long criticized for its lack of diversity, this moment is bigger than a medal. It's about access, visibility, and redefining who gets to be seen at the highest level. Black women are not waiting for permission. They are rewriting the record books. This is a beautiful child, Miss Star. The thing about it is, and her beauty definitely is going to work to her advantage, but this opens her up for endorsements where the real money is. So if we start seeing her in Nike, track suits and things, and, Miss Star, make sure you reach out to a Black designer when it's time for you, to perform. Miss Emily over in Detroit, she does the designs for the Detroit Pistons cheerleaders dance team. So yeah, congratulations to Emily. I mean, not to Emily, child, to Star. Congratulations to Star. Isn't she a pretty girl? She could do, I don't know, so many different things in terms of advertising and marketing. So there's another one out there. That's my girl. We in there now? We've been in there, you know what I'm saying? Even though, they don't want us to be in there, we in there because they be copying what we doing from out here. So yeah, here's another one that's in there. This is my girl, Love Island's Olandria. I bet you she never imagined that going over on this show was going to be this for her. Olandria Carton has signed with United Talent Agency for representation in all areas. UTA will work to secure opportunities for Carton across publishing, television, digital media, and more. And this is the thing about that. She's also, I think she went to, I don't want to get it wrong, but she's also a graduate of HBCU. This young lady is from Alabama. She grew up in the South. I'm not going to put Nick's picture up here because this is not about him. This is about her. But one thing I will say, Tyler is the boy that voted her out. He didn't want her. He wasn't attracted. Taylor, if you're not attracted, you're not attracted. And we're so glad that you were not attracted to Olandria, because had she been over there with you, coupled up with you, these things would not be happening for her. She just left the Golden Globes red carpet. She's very well spoken, smart girl. So I can't wait to see what's next for her. Yeah, shout out to Olandria. Let's, looking forward to seeing what else she's got going on. And that's all I got for today. The news keeps coming in. I haven't really got too much. What'd you say? Wait till they take over the Winter Olympics with our furs. Detroit coming to the Winter Olympics. All the colors. Red furs, green furs. I'm not gonna be out here. I'm a faux fur girl, but it's winter. And it's cold in the D and other places. I've been seeing that the young lady, Savannah, I think that's her name, the morning news show, her mother got kidnapped, allegedly. She went missing. And so there's like new stuff coming up all the time. So I'm going to wait until Monday to get into that because, it's a bunch of alleged and alleged. So I would prefer talking about it like when I have a little more information. But yeah, that's all I got for today. I'm going to end with a word from our president, the head grand wizard in charge. He knows. You know, that's all I can say is he knows. I don't know if he knows, but he knows. He knows.
America first. This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything. What is left? We invented everything. And now it's AI. We invented everything. Does anyone have anything else to say?
I mean, all those people were Black. So you welcome, I guess, for us like stepping in and inventing everything. That's all I got, y'all. Have a good weekend. I will be back on Monday. Make sure we like click on the search bar. We clicking right now. We're clicking Becoming. We're gonna go over there and see what Michelle Obama was talking about. Let's blow up Becoming this weekend, and I'll be coming back on Monday. In the meantime, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.